2, 3. Well, what is going on, everybody? This is the Cloud9 podcast, season 7, episode 2. So, as you guys already know, we just started season 7 earlier this past Sunday. We were talking about the LCS 2023 Spring Split Week 2. And now we are going to be finishing off the LEC 2023 Winter Split Week 3. And after this, we go into the BO3 stage. And this is the stage that I really want to see because there are teams that I want to see how they actually adapt into, the BO3s actually, because BO3s are a much different beast than just BO1s. I really do applaud, the LEC format. I really, really enjoy it. I think they did a fabulous job on how they structured this format and what it is actually going to mean going forward. Because after we get through with the winter split, we can just already, get through with playing spring. And I think that this format solves a lot of the issues that were problems with the other format where you played the, double round robin of BO1s and the 18 games and the playoffs and the lower bracket and all that stuff, right? So this right now cuts out the fluff because looking back on this format, people were like, well, is having top 18s make it like good? Well, the idea behind it is if you take off teams that are ninth and 10th, I mean, you wouldn't really want to see them anymore anyway, right? Because I don't think any of us want to see Fnatic and Excel play more games. I'm pretty sure these rosters are as tapped out as they already are. There's really nothing more to see from them, as we'll talk about them later. I think this format entails something good about that. So that means that we're not watching these teams anymore. I don't need to see any more games from Excel. I'm okay. That roster is extremely bad. And same with Fnatic. I don't need to see any more games of them. Do I want to see more games of Astralis and Heretics? Not really, but at least there was some fight and firepower within them to, keep trying, even though they were getting just dumpstered in some games too. But yeah, so I can't wait till the group stage starts. I can't wait until the BO3 starts. Haven't seen BO3s in EU since the EULCS 2017 spring split. Yeah, it's literally been since 2018. Sorry, literally it's been since 2017 when BO3s were a thing in EU. So I'm happy about it, What's going on with you, man? How'd you like the ending of this stage?
Let's go SK Gaming.
We didn't talk about that. Remember, we put a disclaimer. We said, hey, they played really good, but they got to make sure they're clutch and knock it out in week 3. And let's be honest here. They should have won all 3 of their games. That Astralis game was a throw. They probably know that too. That was a mega, mega, mega throw on their side.
But so on a serious note, it's nice to see both the teams I root for in. It's
That's
sad
crazy.
to
Both
see
of the teams that you root for were fighting each other to get, for one, almost first place and want to stay inside of the playoffs. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny when you think to not see Fnatic in the playoffs and Excel after. You think with all the upgrades they would be better, but I don't know what happened. Overall, though, I think this new format makes it more where you just are not like, okay, we messed up. We're, because normally they play 9 games. Excuse me. And then they do another 9, right? And then it's like, okay, maybe teams end up going like, the best number is to make playoffs is you go 9. If you win 9 games, you're in playoffs for playoff. Now it's like, okay, if you lose more than 3, you're kind of putting yourself in a hole, and we saw that with Koi. I think that like I think there was a lot of surprises in from rookies to imports to the teams that are at the standings. Overall, I think this was a healthy change, the format, and I like the best of three format as well because there's a loser bracket. It's just not one and done. So what LEC is doing is good. Yeah, overall watching I watched, and this is funny to say this, but even I watched every game. I watched whether it was Astralis, whether it was you can't even laugh. BDS is a good team, so you can't even say like Team BDS, right? So, yeah, I think LEC. I mean, outside even and Astralis could have probably got a fourth win if they. I think the Kled draft, but we'll talk about that later. Even Astralis picked up wins like went on a 3-game winning streak. So yeah, I think this was a really good competitive split overall outside of the Fnatic and XL collapse.
So my thing here is, looking at like how some of the other rosters that people thought were not going to be good actually step up and be good. Like that is a good thing, because if you're doing like preseason power rankings when it comes to like all this stuff, you're generally just looking at like how these players performed in an entire year. Because I think people need to understand that it's like we're watching these guys from an entire year perspective. It's not like I'm watching them from just like 1 week and I'm just determining my rankings off that. Like, no, coming into the split, teams like BDS and Astralis, like we're pretty much going to be, by general consensus, considered like the worst teams. And it's nice to have these orgs, these players all kind of step up, and now these players might have a new like revival to their career in a way that, maybe if they perform better and better throughout the year, potentially, because we know you could also drop off, they could have a better offer for a better org, going into next year. And I think that's actually pretty good. I think one of the biggest surprises I had was just Mad Lions performing better throughout each week. I think there were some games there that didn't look, as clean. But overall, I think Mad Lions played pretty good, all things considered. I wasn't that hot on their roster coming in, specifically because like Carzzy ran it down all last year, looked like one of the worst ADCs in the league. And I was like, I don't know if you're going to like getting this guy over Unforgiven, and Unforgiven was really good last year. I was like, this is probably not going to work out. Hill is saying as he ran it down, the majority of all like the summer split for last year for Fnatic, that was embarrassing. You're putting that together as a bot lane. And then you keep Niski, who looked good in the regular season for summer split last year, right? But failed in the playoffs, failed at Worlds. You're like, okay, you're still keeping him. Rumors were that they wanted to also get rid of him as well. So keeping him, he already knows the org doesn't want to keep him. So like to even make sure he has an offer at the end of this year, he has to still perform on an org that he knows wants to kick him. Like Mad Lions botched the El Yoya buyout. He was going to be on either Fnatic to reunite with Humanoid or to go to G2, as a lot of people predicted. Like those are the two biggest orgs that wanted him. Mad Lions botched that buyouts, and then Mad Lions and Elia don't want to really be together anymore, as that is pretty public knowledge. So, like, your mid and jungle duo don't want to be together. They know the org wants to get rid of them. Then you're bringing this random guy, Chasey, from the ERL. So, like, them doing as well as they did was actually good. Like, even from, like, the games that we saw this week, they had that one really, really close game with Team Heretics where Niski got a pentakill on
that was
Silas.
a throw. That was a throw.
Was it Heretics?
Yeah, that was
it Heretics they play again? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Heretics, right? Let me bring up the schedule right now. So it's really hard to predict for some of these teams, still. It's because the strength of the league is so like up and down right now. I wouldn't say there is a clear defined best team in the league right now from all the games I've seen so far out of the 9 games that I've watched for each team play. Like, I just couldn't pinpoint, a team that is like the clear-cut best team in the league, because let's start off with what's on the topic. So let's start with Fnatic, because that's going to be the biggest one. So Fnatic.
Why don't you pull up the standings?
Yeah, I have him right here. So let's start with Fnatic, because Fnatic is going to be what people want us to talk about. Probably the biggest topic of the show this time around, because this is the first time the Fnatic organization has missed moving on from the regular season. TSM last year missed their very first playoffs during the LCS 2022 spring split. That was their first time, they did make, playoffs actually in the organization's history. And then come this year, this is the first time that Fnatic is now missing out on moving forward, from the regular season. Remember, guys, I've been watching Fnatic since 2014. In every split I've watched them, they've made playoffs. Same with TSM last year. I think the only organizations left that have still made playoffs since their inception was, I think, like it has to be like EDG, RNG, and I think T1 are still up there as well. I know for sure T1 has made playoffs in every single split, even when it was called OG and it was like OG in winter and summer and all that other stuff, right? So Fnatic massively underperforming, this year actually. They have been competing, well, in the EULCS. They've been here since season 3 when it comes to like this like format of like the BO1s and the playoffs and all that stuff, right? So ever since the EULCS became a thing back in like season 3, they've been making playoffs. So you have to understand this is a monumental disappointment from this org, Like this is just horrible on levels that you cannot even comprehend, because to even really break it all down is crazy in and of itself, right? So let's look at it from a perspective of what the hell is wrong with this organization in terms of what they were doing, right? So you would have to pinpoint a lot of their issues from how their roster was built last year when they had Wonder, Razork, Humanoid, Upset, and Hylissang, and their head coach was Yamato Cannon, right? So last year they bought Wonder at the end of 2021 on G2. He wasn't really even performing that well on G2. He had a lot of games where he completely ran it down. You look at a player like Wonder, and he was so good for a very long time. And then just in 2021, he just completely just started playing egregiously bad. And then in 2022, he still played bad, all things considered, but he had some moments where he shined for Fnatic. He did. But for the most part, still very, very lackluster. Yes, he was stable, but he only really was stable on very certain picks. It wasn't a consistent, stable player they had, right?
Yeah,
then you had Razork. He came from Misfits. He looked really good. He looked like he looked great. Comes
just
to
like
Fnatic.
VTO.
Yeah. Comes to Fnatic, we're like thinking, man, this guy's about to be like MVP level. No, anything but he was, right? He ran it down on a lot of games. He got it together in the playoffs for both splits, actually. I'll give him that. He got it together when it really mattered, But for the most part of the regular season, bad engages, pathing abysmally, not knowing where to be on the map, just all types of bad play from him. And as a jungler, you're defined by how good you are, but based on how your team is, Then you had Humanoid, who came from Mad Lions. Obviously, he was going to be the new star franchise player Fnatic. That guy's been having a whole load of issues, blatantly sprinting it in a lot of these games, just playing too far forward, not respecting gank pressure, laning horrible. Guys, he's such a former shell of what he used to be. I have no idea why people still suck this guy off. Like, when the Humanoid you guys are thinking about, when he was on Mad Lions, actually, when he was good, and when he would go to like side lanes, push, very smart, 1v1 really well. It was basically just like another version of Caps, but he had a different set of like skills that were really just good and unique to him. Yeah, it's not Humanoid anymore. He hasn't been good literally since last year. I don't know why they even chose to keep him. He was sprinting at level 3. Remember the whole level 3 gank meme that this guy had? Dying to level 3 ganks constantly. This guy's been literally sprinting it, right? People say, oh, he played well at Worlds. Oh, great. That's fucking great. What about all these other this whole year we've been watching this guy run it? Like, what is that?
Well, I want to start off by saying Rux was a bad pickup They should have got a support that can play multiple to kind of adjust to the meta. Now, we're mentioning Razork. Razork, Razork, Irrelevant, Neon. Neon is doing well on Vitality. Irrelevant is doing well on SK. But Razork is not. So, and neither is Vito. Remember, these were kind of like two, like,
those were the big names that people looked at.
For Misfits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I don't know whether, because remember, people were saying, oh, Vito didn't have, like, people around him. It seems like he did, because Neon and Irrelevant are still doing good. Like,
well, and remember in 2022 they had that one guy Schlackton, and they had Zanzara for a bit when the meta was Lee Sin and Poppy to play in the jungle, like for jungler meta champions. Like Zanzara, as bad as he was, all he did was play Poppy and just running into people.
Poppy,
and like that
Trundle.
Yeah, so that essentially forces
Viego.
He did Viego. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so he had Viego, Poppy, and Lee Sin when it was that meta. So when Schlackton and Zanzara are running in, right, Vethio, well, in this, he's going to just follow up, right? And then with Razork, you don't get that with Humanoid. Like, their synergy is so bad. They have no idea how they want to play together. Remember that play that happened with Cassiopeia when it was against Mad Lions? That was that game was lost.
Well,
that was just bad.
Well, I had a point. But this was my point. It's that Vito thought the grass was going to be greener, and so did Razork on a different team. But instead of saying, hey, like, if I was Team Heretics, I think, let's be honest, I think Vito is better than Ruby. But I think if Vito was with Yankos and Evie and let's say
Jack Spectra and Mercer,
I think that team easily with Vito would have been a better team.
It's hard to say.
Or if they kept Irrelevant and Vito, but then they just add Yankos and Jack Spectra and Mercer. No, I'm sorry. So it'd have been Irrelevant, right? Neon, let Neon go to Vitality. That's fine. So it'd have been Irrelevant, Yankos, VTO, Jack Spectra, and Mercer. That's a good team right there. That's what I'm saying. People always like forget about. And now I think it was on a Twitter post where how I Will Dominate was. Do you know that? Well, I Will Dominate said that Irrelevant had great spacing in team fights, and that was true. If we look at the game, he had great spacing on Gnar. He's kind of like the unsung hero. And do you know that Irrelevant has the most solo kills right now? Like, and this
great. Yeah,
this guy was a rookie. People forget that he was replaced. He came in because of the whole debacle
situation.
From Summer. Like, it's like people forget that there was a weird situation. So, my point is that I think they need to realize the grass is not greener. Rux was a terrible pickup. We saw with the draft, he can't play Enchanters. They kept losing lane. Reckless
Reckless is scared of his own shadow.
Reckless can't play meta champs. Wonder can't play some of the meta champs because he's always relying on his Gragas. Humanoid is like trying to be caps all over the map because he's trying to stop the bleeding. So I don't know.
So Razork and Humanoid, really horrible synergy. I don't know why they chose to keep these guys. Then, like, the biggest egregious thing, which is them replacing Upset for Reckless. Like, that has to be one of the biggest L's ever. Replacing Upset and Hylissang as a bot lane duo together for this bot lane is bad. So we'll start with Rux. So as you guys remember, Rux got a chance to play 2 games during the Worlds 22 play-in stage against Evil Geniuses and that Australian team. I forgot what they're called. The Chiefs, right? It was Chiefs and EG. And he looked good playing with Upset. Now, let's put that into context, right? Rux only looked as good as he did because Hylissang had ran it down so hard in 2022 LEC Summer Split that when Rux came up and he played good for those first 2 games, people need to understand that is such a small sample size to go off of, right? That is such a small sample size to go off of to think this guy could arguably play that well in an entire split when these 2 games, I mean, like, let's be honest here, Evil Geniuses, that was a, what, like, the issue here is that the Fnatic management, they thought this guy playing well in these 2 games actually meant this guy could be as good as Hylissang. People forget, Hylissang looked really good in spring last year. It was just the summer he ran it down. But Hylissang's a natural, like, okay, I'm good in one split. It's like, I'm good in one split, I'm bad in one split. But I would still rather have that than what Rux offered. Because that's such a small sample size. Like, they trusted this guy to be a main support after he beat an Australian team. Chiefs. Australia went 0 Australia went 0 in fucking like 18 last year. How is that a good measure of how good someone is? And he was on the Fnatic Academy team for a long time. And I get it. It's because I know Sean says like they didn't think that he could be like good with the main roster. Like, it's pretty weird how you get promoted anyway. So I'm not gonna blame that on him. Sometimes these orgs don't give people chances when they really do deserve it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, people who are going to watch this, is how in the world does this guy get a starting spot after playing good in 2 games? And then the person they played good with was upset. Someone that didn't even keep, okay? Then after that, so Yamato Canada, I think, broke it down. Okay, so basically, Hylissang didn't want to play with Humanoid anymore, clashing of playstyles. Upset didn't also want to play with Humanoid. And also Wonder, who would run it down in scrims. And then Fnatic chose to get rid of Hylissang because he wanted to leave because he didn't want to play with Humanoid. And then Humanoid didn't want to play with Upset, so they chose to just bench Upset and get Reckless. All for Humanoid. Are you shitting me? Upset was one of the players that actually kept them alive last year. Remember last year, they had to win all 3 of their games to even qualify just for the playoffs. That tiebreaker game was for if they were going to have a higher seed in the playoffs, right? If they had to go through the losers bracket or if they had to go through the upper bracket, right? That was for the tiebreaker. They had to win these 3 games just to make it into playoffs, right? They were almost going to miss playoffs last year, actually, in a summer split. They do the whole protect the double lift comp. They played through Upset. Everyone knew last year, if you watch Fnatic, they played through Upset. They played through Upset in all 3 of those games, and they won all 3 of those games because Upset and Hylissang were clutch for them, and they managed to pull together for those last 3 games, right? Then this org decides, you know what? I'm going to get rid of these 2 players. And I get it. Hylissang had some egregious plays, right, on his own. But in lane with Upset, he was actually good. He was actually pretty good overall with Upset. They were a good bot lane together. And this org chose to get rid of this bot lane for 2 players, one who didn't even have enough games to show he can improve, he could play on stage, and Reckless, who essentially failed on K-Corp. Someone who already left them for G2.
And not to mention, while Reckless was on K-Corp and in ERLs, he was getting owned by Exakick in ERLs. And believe it or not, DOS was on MSF, remember? Back in 20
it was only at Feb event, I think. That was a while ago. Yeah.
He was on that. He was on there, and then he would drop back now. So, I think Rux it showed in the draft that he can't play Enchanters, which is, and I mean, they're going to be playing on a new patch, by the way, for the.
Do you think he would look better if it's not Reckless? Because remember that, I don't know if you watched the Legends in Actions video. Because he said, I'm playing the most broken meta champions right now, and I feel like I'm hugging the turret. Like, I don't know if that's a Reckless issue. I don't know if that's like a bot lane synergy issue they have. I don't know. Because he looked good. Because he looked fine with Upset. It might just be Reckless.
There's a lot of engaged supports. Well, not engaged supports. Like, the problem is most teams are going like Lulu, Lux. Now Yumi's gonna be gutted, so she won't be played. She's really bad. Like, starting Saturday, you won't see Yumi even in the bans because she's just bad. Reckless didn't play anything besides, I think it was Zaya and Varus when Zeri was open, and
He played Zeri, remember? He got destroyed on it in the G2 game, remember?
Yeah, because he's not good on it. He's not good on the new champs. And Rux can't play Nami or Yumi, so that hurts them. And then Wonder's playing Gragas almost every game because he feels that's the answer to Jax. And then Humanoid, he's getting his pick of the litter. So I think it's a combination of Reckless does not meta picks. Rux can't play enchanters. Wonder can't play top lane picks. Like I don't think Wonder played one Cassante game.
Oh, he only played Gwen, Gragas, and I think Fiora.
I think he had one. Yeah,
and we're talking played these champions. We wasn't good at them.
Right. Right.
I mean, he did his best game was from the Gwen game, and he threw that game himself. So I mean, I don't know how you take that.
Right. So I think it's a combination of draft, bad pairing of players.
They kept the wrong pieces that actually got them success. They kept the wrong players.
I think also because Koi almost didn't make it too. I think the problem too is a lot of these bot laners had egos and not egos, but were what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. Complacent. They were complacent. Like they thought that Astralis bot lane's not going to challenge them. Mad Lions isn't going to challenge us, or Heretics, or SK, but Reckless and Comp, and now Comp is looking like he belongs back in the ARLs, and Reckless is looking. So I think a lot of them got complacent and didn't really put on their A games because they thought, well, I'm a big name, we're gonna just dominate these 2v2s, and that's not how it works. Like, just because after a while people start playing without name tags and they don't care who's on the other side of the lane. So I think that was another thing. But overall, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Reckless is done. I wouldn't be surprised if they make some really, really big changes with Fnatic. But I mean, I think that org needs to stop being cheap. That's my personal opinion.
No, remember they spent a lot of money for these guys. Remember, they paid like 500,000 euros for Wonder. They spent top dollar. It just didn't really. So one, it didn't work out, and I think they spent top dollar on players that, in that moment, it made sense to get Humanoid from his Mad Lions performance. It made sense then, but I would not have kept this guy after his performance last year. Like, the only thing that saved this guy from getting kicked from the org was that he played well at Worlds, and that was just like, okay, dude. All right. I'm going to keep a guy that only played well in like 6 games all year. Okay. Just see how that's going to work out for you when you have to play with this guy next year. Wonder just not really ever like being anything but just essentially like a player that you just is stable, but it's never going to do anything better than just being stable. And being stable is very, very like, what's the word? Uneven for him too. Like there's games where he's stable, but he's like 0-4. The best thing he can do is just throw Gragas ults. Like that's just a joke in and of itself, right? Then after that, you had, the whole upset debacle situation. They kicked their best players, essentially, but you come to this year where Reckless just looks so abhorrently bad, and I get it. There's really not much he can do in certain situations when they're not really like peeling for him or playing to protect him. But there's situations where he's not even playing out the laning phase good. The game against SK Gaming, on, was it like Monday, right? He looked really bad when they picked Zaya and fucking Leona into Caitlyn and Lux. Like, how's that not an automatic L in draft? If I see a draft like that, I'm reporting you to the FBI. That is a horrible. What the fuck? Like, just getting absolutely just wrecked completely.
Gaming, baby!
Just getting ass railed. Like, just getting completely just destroyed, demoralized. Like, people say, well, it's comfort if you give them these champions. Yeah, you can also be comfortably sitting at home beating off while everyone's in playoffs too. You want to do that shit.
K4. Listen, I'm not gonna watch. Let me ask you. The reason I want to watch LCS is because that's like a chimp and a gorilla having sex. I'm not gonna watch that. I'm sorry.
That sounds fun.
I'm not gonna lie. Watching the LST was weird because like I look at it, none of these teams like look like they're completely dominant. It's like at any given moment.
We were talking about that. There wasn't like Vitality finished first, right? But there wasn't like there's a best team that's just running the whole league.
Yep.
I will say, Vitality though, I don't think they're I wouldn't say that they're the best team, but they're the most composed team in critical situations.
You know what I like about them? Bo had a really bad last 2 games. Like,
and he still won. He was like 3-11 on Vi.
Bro was doing a sprint Olympics.
This guy was Usain Bolt running backwards.
But I will say this: Excel dog shit the whole split. But that last game against Vitality, that was a
not even dog shit. Them motherfuckers.
Imagine that very last game with Vitality and Excel. That was that big old great banger game where Perk stole the Elder Dragon and shit. They were ahead in that game. Still can't fucking close shit out. They were ahead in that Fnatic game. Still can't close that shit out. Excel and Fnatic really should have 0 wins. They both should be 0-9.
No, Fnatic. The Fnatic first week wasn't bad. It was that week 2.
No, because remember in week 1 Excel was ahead of them. Excel threw against them. Fnatic shouldn't have won that game. The other game that they won was against Koi. Remember when Malron fucking ran it into them? Fnatic should have no wins. Fnatic's only wins came from throws. That's pathetic.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't think it's throws, because to me it's a throw if it's 1 or twice. XL has consistently been doing this. To me, I don't think they know how to close. I was like, wait a second, this. Cause I'm looking at the game and I was like, wait.
The Koi game for sure they threw. That is a for sure throw.
That
how head
was
Rogue was.
I was like, okay. I was like, what the? I'm looking like, what the fuck is? It was like,
because Malron gets ahead. Malron gets ahead on Sejuani. Then doesn't leverage anything with it. Doesn't go to Rift Herald. Doesn't start taking dragons. They don't start rotating around the map. They don't start diving the bot lane. And then Fnatic can just scale up with Sivir. It's crazy how the only game Reckless did well on was on Sivir. And this guy wants to play Xayah like he's been carrying shit. This guy wants to try and be LeBron James.
This guy thought it was 2018 Worlds.
This guy thought he was fucking LeBron James when in reality, you ain't shit. You a bench warmer. This guy's a bench warmer trying to act like he's going to be the main dude. It's like, no. What is up with that? Fnatic's wins only came from throws. I like those wins they have might as well not even count. Those wins don't count for shit. They might Excel and Fnatic might as well just be 0-9. Because that one game Excel won from BDS throwing, that doesn't count for shit.
Now that you're talking about Excel, what do you think?
I would get rid of the whole roster, honestly. If I'm being honest.
What do you think was Excel's
too passive?
Issues?
Way too passive. They don't do anything in lane.
And the one game they won,
BDS hard.
You know why it's hard for me to throw? Because BDS was never consistent for that. Watch that whole game. They were never fully consistent on anything. They'd be hesitant. And XL, luckily, I don't know how the
grace of God.
That Koi game, I don't know how Koi won that one. After they were kind of choking towards the end. That BDS game,
you could also say, I don't know how Astralis came back in that SK gaming game. I mean, like that right there is like SK really should have went 3-0, but we'll get to that later.
I don't know how that happened. That one was like, okay.
Can you bring up the standings on the screen if possible?
Yeah. I don't get black people privileges. What the hell?
I don't let monkeys talk.
That meme of Last Astralis is no longer applied. It's no longer applicable. It's like Fnatic failures because you got an XL.
Fnatic failures. I'm gonna use that.
Fnatic failures and XL
loss.
XL to the bottom. No, they XL to the bottom. You know how many people had XL in the top 3?
I had him.
I had him about about.
I had him 5th, 4th, I believe.
I had him 5th.
Did I have him 4th?
You had him high. I think
I had him 3rd or 4th. Oh yeah, I had him 3rd because I had Fnatic 4th.
Because I had Fnatic, D2, Man Lion, and Koi top 4. I was like, oh, XL should do, son.
So okay, Warren asks, why do you think? Okay, so for Fnatic, to finish off them, yeah, that whole roster is getting changed. If
That whole
anyone thinks, oh no, they won't change these guys out, just let them
They
develop
need to.
synergy. What the fuck?
Nah, fuck that.
Are people retarded? Let them develop synergy.
Reck-
They couldn't do that in scrims. Reckless literally said in the Legends in Action episode, the first one, he said our scrims are terrible and we have no synergy.
That's not like when
He
you
openly,
say,
you know, I'm gonna bring it up for all you weirdos out there who fucking
like
sit
when
for this
you
dude.
say
Here, let me bring it up for him.
say that
I got
that's-
receipts.
When you say that, that's not even like
He wasn't even going like, oh ha 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 ha, we lost all our scrims joking. No, he was serious.
You know you bad when you suck in practice. You can't suck in practice because that's practice.
Episode 2, it was episode.
I mean, like they said it was like.
What's the thing to put it on 2 times? It's what this right? Put it on 2 times speed.
Yeah, settings.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
settings.
Let's go to
Bottom, all the way bottom.
All the way bottom. Let's go to 2.
Yeah.
I need to figure out the part. There's a part where Reckless is getting interviewed, and he straight up says, "We're losing everything." Like that. That is not confident. Like, I don't know how people watch. Okay, well, what was it? This one?
If my most recognizable player says we suck in practice, I'm looking at it like, okay, should we just because it's kind of like in the kitchen, like how and head chef could come in and just get rid of a whole kitchen if he feels like they're not working together. This is what's gonna happen to them because they're not synergizing on the rift. They're doing bad engages. It's just all the basic shit, and you're not executing. Plus, when you see people that used to be on your team last year strive in other spots, you gotta start thinking.
Well, isn't it like think about this, right?
Yeah.
Think about the people that have left teams. Like Marcoon leaves XL, he goes on SK, he's top 3. Yep. Neon leaves. Neon gets. Remember, Neon didn't even have. Remember, up until the very late, Neon didn't even have a team. Yep. He didn't get picked up. So Neon, Marcoon doing well. Yanko still made playoffs with.
He's also doing good. Yeah.
He's still because there was some game. I think Heretic should have been like one game over 500 personally, or like 500 because they can go either way. Excuse me. And then we look at like all these newer teams are like competing. Like, you know, think about who SK beat. They beat Vitality. They beat G2. They beat Fnatic. I don't think they beat Koi though. They lost to Koi, right? I believe so.
G2 this week? No, they won against Koi. SK beat Koi last week.
Oh yeah, they beat Koi last week. So like the thing is that I think if we've been noticing from every split, at least he's getting better. But in regards to XL, I don't know. Like I think the problem is that these teams thought that okay, we got these big names, maybe these players are gonna play scared. They're like, nah, we want to keep our jobs here. We want to get rid of you.
Yeah, because Xerxes, I think he performed good on Astralis last split because he knew that was if I don't perform well on this roster, I'm not gonna get my job ever again. So he looked as good as he did, tricking XL to probably thinking, okay, this guy will actually perform very well with us, you know. So getting Otawamne is fine, right? I don't think that's the problem. I think he was the only player for them that ever did anything in any of their games, right? Then you had Xerxes, who was like the worst jungler in the league. He was just completely abysmal. He's been a turbo sprinter for like fucking years. Then you had Vetio, who would get roaming picks, not roam, sit in lane, lose constantly, like completely a former shell of who he used to be. Like last year, he looked pretty good, but last year, the reason why Vetio was as good as he was, as people pointed out, was it wasn't the fact that he was dominating lane or anything like that. It was because people would throw into Misfits, and Misfits were just very good at just catching throws, right? Vetio himself played good last year. I'm not denying that for anyone who's watching, but this year, it clearly shows that he's not going to be that type of player all the time. That, to me, was just a one-time thing that he was going to be that player last year, and he's not going to be that player anymore. Maybe spring and summer, it changes. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but in 2021, when Misfits brought this guy in, he fucking sucked all that year. He was good in 2022, and then right now in 2023, he is complete dog shit. Like, this guy got Talia, this guy got Rise, this guy got Twisted Fate, this guy couldn't play these champions for worth of dog shit. This guy is just so passive in lane, just does nothing. Then the bot lane of Patrick and Targamas, like, I think Patrick is a player that people just say he's good because I think they just have some familiarity with him, because there have been some splits where he's good, but he's not going to be like an upset. He's not like a comp where they can take over a game.
I think he's a. I don't mean to cut you off. I think he's
I
think he's a downgrade version of Kabe.
Yeah, because the thing with him is, like, people say he's insane, but this guy's never been like the best ever. He's always been pretty good to serviceable. He's had some pop-off games, right? But he's never going to be like an exit kick. He's never going to be like an upset. He's never going to be like a comp, you know? Guys that'll just take over the game and just win it for them if they're like the main AD carry. He's just not like that. Even if a team is funneling resources into him, he still is never going to be that player. He's shown it. He's not going to be that guy. And in this split, he played pretty bad too. Like, people have this like random.
I don't think it's a matter of playing bad. I just think that, like, I don't know.
This laning phase dude was horrible.
I think they should have just kept Odo as the weak side king, honestly, and just played towards mid and bot. And
that's what I was gonna bring up too. The team had no idea of who they wanted to play through or how they even wanted to play the game. Remember that last game against no, it was against, was it SK? No, it was a game they played. I remember earlier this week where I was like, God, what the fuck's going on? It was, which one did they play? It was the XL one, right?
Yep.
So it was the XL one. It was when Xerxes was on a lease, and I've never seen such bad fucking map coordination in my life. Like, all these guys should be replaced. Targamas too. Targamas did not look good in summer of last year, nor did he look good at Worlds, and XL thought, we'll just grab this guy. The only reason why I thought it would work out initially going in was because I thought Targamas would be a better pairing for Patrick than Mickey X was. But it turns out, I was wrong, and that's just how life is. All right, give me, who was it? We're talking about XL. XL, not Vitality one. It's the one where they're like, right here. God, this game just shows why these people, like, all these guys deserve to lose their fucking job. All right, was it this game? Well, I mean, this game they blew him out of the water in this game too.
Well, pause it right here. Here's the problem. Why do you have Senna, Yasuo? How are you gonna get on top of a Sion on a Zeri that can go over walls? Akali is gonna get away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Renekton's gonna get outscaled by the Sion, and the Maokai is gonna have a better engage. So how are they gonna get onto anyone? This draft was this draft is
horrible.
This draft was bad.
Patrick is not even the player to play Yasuo. Patrick's not that kind of guy to do that. This guy's been passive and dog shit in lane the whole fucking split, and they're gonna get this guy Yasuo. Really? One of the most aggressive champions in the game. You have to be in someone's face the whole time.
I think the only pick they had that was good was probably Victor pick. That was the only pick. That was it. I was thinking the center pick, but I was like, nah.
Right here, found it.
Their Yubi is just disgusting until the next patch.
It was this game right here. This is so bad. Look how bad some of these guys are in this game. This was one of the worst games I've seen. All right, so if you have a Draven comp, which Heretics have, which XL know, they are going to be going down to bot lane to get Draven ahead. I mean, whenever you see a Draven, whoever team has the Draven, they're going to try and get that Draven fed. That's it. Xerxes knows this and is up there, right there, next to fucking Vetio. What else would Team Heretics plan be? What is wrong with this guy? This was Vetio's like only good game he had all split, where he actually played good in this game. I'll give him that. He actually played aggressive in this game, and he actually played well this game. I got to give it to him. He played well in this game, but one good game out of 9, that don't really count. But you know what? He had a good game this time around. This was all Xerxes. So Xerxes is trying to path toward top to put pressure on a Jax Orin matchup when he knows that his bot lane is constantly getting dove. Imagine if he was there to turn these ganks around with VIT more. Mersa and Jack Spectre were constantly diving them. Imagine if your Elise is there, right there constantly, just turning around the gank. What is this guy doing, man? This was their game where if they won this game, they would have had somewhat of a fighting shot to make the group stage. They wouldn't have made it still because there would have not been enough games for them to play.
1 of 5, they would have had a very outside chance, but they would have had a chance.
Xerxes, they took their. I mean, to be fair, people are going to tell me, but you're saying Xerxes passive. Don't they have to give him a lease? If you're going to play a lease like that, you do not be on a lease. Okay, like that means you can't do nothing with this guy. He can't play the tank champions because he's too passive, and he can't play aggressive jungler because he's too passive. What can he play then? Like, what can he do then? This guy knows his bot lane was getting dove ever since like minute 3, and he just never pathed there. He's trying to get ahead the Orin and the Jax. What is wrong with this guy? He is trying to essentially get a top lane ahead that isn't going to matter anyway. What is the point of getting an Orin ahead if the Draven just fucking fists his ass in a fucking team fight with his axes? So that means that Vetio has to constantly path down to bot, which he did. That was the correct thing to do to punish Team Heretics' draft. But the problem here is that he was so behind on map pressure and experience because he wasn't really doing anything that Jankos just ran over this guy. The fact that people even thought that Xerxes was ever better than Jankos is disgusting. Xerxes was never better than Jankos in any split. Unless my dad came back into my life, unless I got laid by Anade Armors maybe in that dimension, but that ain't real. So Otomamne decides to throw himself in there, get CC'd under turret, gets instantly killed. Then, it's over anyways. And then, Shockwave hits. Then Patrick decides to step up way too far. Why is Patrick there? Why?
Everybody out here blowing flashes like it's nothing. How you gonna blow a flash and then die 5 seconds later? Like,
he flashed right there. He flashed even though he knew he was dead.
Just die. Just like it's
This whole game, Xerxes threw this game so hard. If you play this badly on my team, I'd report you to the fucking feds. Holy shit.
No, like I said, like everybody getting fired. Like
so fucking bad, man. I was watching this guy just play Elise and run it. What is he doing right there? Why path that way? What is it's intentionally that is throwing, man. Like, please kick this guy. He's done nothing the whole split except just farm, not gank, not path well, can't jungle objectives properly, can't ward properly, what can he do good? Nothing. He can't do anything good.
He could die good.
Yeah.
He has no map awareness. He doesn't know where to path to. This is a Draven in the bot lane with a Rakan that's diving his bot lane. He's like, I'm going to go up and fight the Orin. What the hell? What the fuck?
The draft was bad too because you're gonna get outscaled by the Jax and the Orianna, and they just have better engage. And
exactly.
This man's sitting here thinking that if he goes up there and he ganks the Jax, that's gonna help Orin out. That's not gonna mean shit. Yeah, because the Orin's about to just dish out 10 billion damage and about to just wreck everybody, bro. As hard as Vetio was winning lane, Vetio played well in a game that was their elimination match. Okay, your Jace is solo killing Ruby, doing all that. Why is he not mid? Putting pressure down mid. If your Jace is that far ahead, you need to be mid and you need to be putting pressure mid. This guy is sitting there, I don't know, jerking off with a spider web come and is fucking in the fucking jungle or some shit. Like, what is this guy doing? If this was competitive griefing on the biggest level I've ever seen. Literally invisible the whole game. I was like, you just get off the stage. You deserve to be fucking unemployed at this point. Good actual God, this guy deserves to be kicked. This was fucking disgusting to look at. And then Team Heretics, they played well that game. They capitalized on all the mistakes that Excel did. So that was my thing with Excel. Too passive. The players, all of them.
There was definitely no synergy. No synergy.
No synergy. They just stood there in lane or was like, okay, we'll just sit in lane and just
bad decision. like instead of thinking about the next team fight or whatever, okay, let's blow a flash and then move 5 inches and get killed. It's like you got to realize if you know you're going to die, you don't flash, you just die, and then you come back to the map. It's like, and then you have a fresh flash, a fresh whatever other summer spell they had. It was just one of those. It was just one of those things where you start to realize, like, okay, sometimes super teams don't work because you could have 5 great people, but if they don't work together, there's no point. It's like.
Yeah, it's the concept of like you can have these certain type of players. Okay, so in League, these guys would function as a lot of like role players. These are like good role players. Where's the guy that's gonna make the big play? Where are the guys that's gonna engage? You know, where's the guy that's gonna make the moves on the map? Right? Yeah. You shouldn't have your role players, but if you can have a car, right? But if there's not a steering wheel in this car, it's not moving. It's just gonna be stationary. Yeah. That's what XL were. They were a car with no steering wheel. Who gets this team going? Targamas, the guy that can't lane at all and just simply dies in lane with Patrick consistently. The horrible 2v2s these people were having every game, they just stopped. And people said, "Oh, Patrick is not what you guys think he is. Patrick is a good, serviceable ADC for what he is, but he's not going to be this takeover ADC. He's not going to be upset like who was for Fnatic.
Or Kabe.
He's not going to be what even Kabe had better games than this guy that split. Kabe on most games looked pretty solid. I saw those Ezreal games; those were bad. But other than that, he looked pretty fine on everything else. What about Crowny? Let's use Crowny for example. Is he gonna be like Crowny? No, he wasn't. He's just sitting in a lane, just dying consistently. I don't know where this love for this guy comes from. It's so weird how people act in this community, man. People will do that. I like this guy. Why? Oh, because why? I don't know. Like, fuck. Fucking weirdos, man. Say same thing with Bjergsen. Why do you like Bjergsen? Oh, because it's TSM. Bro. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdos, man. So yeah, XL and Fnatic, they're trash. I will give Astralis credit. They fought to the very end, and I can respect that. And even though they're not good themselves,
the one good thing about them, they never gave up in any of their games.
Even though Dejor is a filthy inter, that guy is dog shit.
But he never gave up. He would just constantly keep dying, but he would do it not early enough where it would be a 4v5.
This guy, Dejor himself ran it so hard.
But
all games. The only game he had good was the SK Gaming one where he played Silas. That was his only good game.
The one thing I give Astralis is that their drafting was not shit. Because I'm not gonna lie, Fnatic XL's drafting was some shit. I
will give Finn credit too. Finn was trying to make stuff happen. He made he would look stupid sometimes, but he will try to make stuff happen.
Let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Do you think? Well, since we're on Astralis, I could talk about Astralis. I think Dior regressed. I thought after the last split with the turnaround they had that he would have played better, but I don't know what happened. I think personally, his champ pool got affected because he didn't play one game of Vex, even though I think Vex is very strong right now, believe it or not. And also,
but he didn't look that good last year either. Even when it was Vex, Rise, and Zoe, he didn't look good last year. Well, he did look good on
remember the Rise game that they played?
There was a few. Yeah, there was a few.
The Rise game that they won handily when 113 got trundled. Because I think 113 has been trying, like, this guy is, like, trying, even though he plays aggressive, he's just trying to win the game. You can't blame the guy for trying to
No, I don't think it's, like, so the same thing about 113 is the same thing with Yike on G2. I don't think their rosters have decided on what is this guy's role for our team. Because both of them, both 113 and Yike, they don't know which lane they want to play through, though. They don't know who's the strongest player on their team, and that's not their fault. That's a team decision.
Well,
right?
They started playing through Kabe, and they realized that's how they win the game, finally.
Yeah, because Finn can be like a bootleg kind of secondary carry, you know? He'll try to do something.
The EU Impact?
I'm not gonna give him that much credit.
That's not credit. I mean,
he made. I'll give him credit. He made some stuff happen. He was a very big reason why they won their last game on Gangplank. Because the thing, look at Finn. Finn, I would never thought I'd say this. Finn outperformed Wonder in a split. Bro, what kind of dimension are we in? That's crazy.
Well, I don't know, man. I think Kabe and Junghook's.
Jingle didn't look that good. He looked pretty whack.
Again, I think the Enchanter meta really messed up a lot of these support players outside of the ones that can actually play them, like Hylissang, Dawes, Mersa. Mickey actually didn't play a lot of supports, Enchanter supports, honestly. It's just that he has Hansama, so he can play aggressive. But Astralis, I mean, now that we're talking about the teams that are
moving on,
do you think Astralis? Because it's Astralis and Mad, right?
For the BO3 stage, yeah. I need to go over the Mad matches right now. Okay, so
I mean, we're going up the list, but that I figured I'd mention.
Yeah, I want to try and see who's gonna play first because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the group stage next. All right, so summer groups, winter groups, right here. So the winter groups starting off. So many matches. I love it. All right, so the first round should be Saturday. Vitality versus Team Heretics, SK versus Koi. That's pretty spicy. And you have Mad, Astralis, then G2, BDS, and then so on and so forth. So yeah,
I think it's gonna be 2-1 Koi, but then SK is gonna win the losers bracket because they're a young team, and I think I don't know. I'm just being realistic, but we'll talk about that later.
So let's go to I just brought up Koi. That's the next team. Okay. I was pretty disappointed in Koi most of the split. I'm not gonna lie. It was like it looked pretty bad. Gosh, how would you say it? They essentially switched out a player for the same player, except he's worse at that style. That would make your team worse. It's like Malrong, I think, was their best player throughout the whole split. I think Malrong
he got exposed, man. He got super exposed.
I mean, other than the bot lane?
I mean, Marcoon owned him. Yike owned him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who.
Larson, I don't think played that well.
Owned him. Like, I mean, he's super exposed, and his champ was suspect too.
Yeah, like I think they just I think they fundamentally didn't know why they even got, and we know it's not their fault. There was the guy didn't want to re-sign Otawamne, so he was like, "Yeah, I'll just bring up an ERL guy and show that I can make the big moves here." Otawamne goes to Excel, and then they get a new guy. But it's like you switched out Otawamne for the same guy that's worse at that play style. What the? These people who make decisions blow my mind, bruh.
To me, some of these decisions gotta be money decisions. There's no way in hell.
There's no way in hell you switch out Otawamne for a guy that's worse at what Otawamne is good at doing. That's retarded.
No, well, just Genta had good laning phases. It's just Koi had some stupid ass drafts too.
Yeah.
And no, I don't think it was just Genta. I think intensive. I think it was Competent Trinity sucked. I'm sorry.
Ran it down pretty hard.
Week
one, we were like, yeah, this is pretty much because in week one they won the same way they always do. Good early game, Larson on a mage, they scale up. But weeks 2 and 3, oh my god, I was like, what am I even watching? A lot of their games, even though they won, were kind of suspect outside of like week 1. Like weeks 2 and 3 were pretty rough for them. Okay. Like they were getting getting guys murdered in 2v2s.
I think the lesson for any EU team that's watching this, never, ever switch your team from what it is to a Spanish Lord. Never do that again.
Yes, we're going to Heretics now. Oh, God. So, Team Heretics, I will say this. They do make watching these games exciting. I can give them that. But outside of that, I think this is a roster that is extremely carried by Yankos. Like, you can tell that a lot of how good they even are as a team, just as a unit, is kind of based around Yankos. I think Evie has had some really good stand-up performances this split. I think Jack Spectra is just a weaker version of Exakick, honestly. That's kind of how I see him.
Evie, not on Cassante, is not the same person.
Yeah, like, and you have Mersa. Mersa only, I don't know, I'm still not too fully bought into the Mersa stocks. I think he still looks pretty suspect, all things considered. Ruby, I think, has had some standout performances. Like Team Heretics, I think are okay. That's the best I can really.
I think Team Heretics could pull off the upset against, was it Mad? No, not Mad.
I think they're facing Mad, right? I think.
No, they're going against Vitality.
Oh Lord, God bless their souls. Then.
No, I don't think they can beat them, but I think they can win. I think Team Heretics can. I don't know. We'll talk about that later. But in regards to
Team Heretics, what do you think? Because there were some games this team had where it was just so sloppy.
They should have been 5-4.
Personally. Okay, yeah, I could agree. They should have had maybe one more win.
Especially the throw that they did on with giving Niski that penta. That is just, I'm like, come on, man. All you just needed was some freaking heel cut. Like, come on,
Lord.
Are you serious? like that was, they had Baron, and they just needed to play it slower or recall and get back.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted to go for the win, and I think they're definitely a young. Remember, this is, you have to take in consideration too. This is a put together brand new team. These players have never been with each other. It's not like they've known each other before.
Mm-hmm.
All new players. So, all things considering, out of all the teams, I think they overperformed, personally.
Yeah, because there is an argument you could make that this roster should have been 10th place, given all these randoms that they fucking have. This is a team full of literally like legit randoms. Somebody that's getting talk. One guy, like, so with Vitality, Chinese, Korean. This team has a Japanese and another ding dong jaw blong blong. God damn.
Whoa. Chat, whoever's watching, we are not racist. This guy's just acting like a gorilla.
Yeah. MSK acting like the kid with the helmet on the back of the slow bus.
Oh my Lord. Like, Team Heretics, I think they're an exciting team. I do look forward to watching their games. It's probably a guilty pleasure, but they do make things happen, and they don't just sit around and just lose. And I can get behind that.
Okay,
but
real quick.
Gameplay is pretty wonky.
Because I watched the last game, Vitality versus XL. How does XL have 4 Drakes and still lose?
We'll get to that game.
They're the new BDS.
We're going to go over that game right now. This was actually the best game of the split. This was so exciting to watch. I was like, no way XL closed it out. You know why I wasn't falling for that? Because last year, I predicted XL to knock out Fnatic 3-2, so Fnatic doesn't go to Worlds, right? But then XL fuck over how they end the game, and I was like, no way I'm trusting that they're going to win this game. They're going to fuck it up like they usually do. And guess what? They do. So this is the game where they're actually winning it. They get an early game lead. Story of Excel with some of their games this past split. I get an early game lead, but I just struggle to close out, or I don't know what I'm supposed to do when I have a lead. Then it leads into Perks stealing the Elder Dragon as Talia, and then the game just pretty much gets all thrown back to Vitality. Actually, this was such a fun game to watch, man. Holy crap, this was fun. Now, I think Vetio getting caught out toward the end of the game was actually ridiculous. I don't think Patrick actually was as good in this game on Varus. I think they were actually funneling all their resources into Neon the whole game. Neon played great on Zeri in this game. I wouldn't put Kaiser, my good engaged support, on Yumi, but this is the last patch where she's going to be good, so I can kind of understand that. I did like how Vitality knew when to back off. Like, they didn't force more fights than they needed to. They actually played out some of the team fights pretty well. Like, I will give them that. And the thing here is the fact that Excel still couldn't close out with a Baron push, essentially an inhib down, super minions pushing in mid, minions pushing in from bot and top, them getting an Elder Dragon stolen. Targamas was making some proactive plays on Pike. Xerxes, I mean, he was in the game, I'll say that. But this is the thing, which is Neon exceptionally playing well on Zeri, which, you want to see that. Now, people did say, well, if they had upset, they would look a whole lot better. Tomato. I'm pretty sure they would, but it just depends, because they don't really need a carry line like that for this team. This is what they need this guy to do. if they are going to put resources into this guy for some games, then he needs to step up in some games. If you have the Zeri Yumi comp, then yeah, you're going to be funneled resources and you need to actually perform. So toward the very end right here, I think it was Vetio who ended up getting caught out because Perks put up this wall, and right there, Bo locks onto Vetio. He burns his stopwatch, and he dies immediately. And then after that, they just go and boom rush the base. Super Minions pushing in to Vitality's base. Otawamne dies on Jax. This guy completely just not playing Jax very well. And they just finish off the Nexus right there. Because if they don't actually end the game right here, they lose because the minions will just obviously finish off the base. Such a fun game to watch. I recommend anybody go back and watch this game. Fun game, blast game, back and forth as usual. But Excel, as you know, sucks at fucking closing out. So fucking bad. Holy shit. Jeez. God. So, let's go to, was it Team BDS? Okay, for Team BDS, quick thoughts on them. I think Crownie, Adam played really well this split. I think they stepped up when they needed to. And I also think that Crownie was easily a top 3 ADC in the league. I think Adam looked like one of the best top laners in the league. I mean, we've all kind of wanted that from this guy. Nuke and Shio looked solid enough. I think BDS really got their shit together enough to the point where they could, look better than they did last year. That's pretty much all I can say about them. Like, Adam played great. Adam played great. So did Crownie. All right, so let's go to G2 Esports. So
whoa. First off, we both had BDS at the bottom, so that gives them even a little bit more credit than that.
No.
Second of all, I think they can make a run if they really clean up their act. Because let's be honest, they should have been top. They should have been at the top of the standings.
Some of the games that they lost were just because of them. It wasn't because the enemy team was better. Right. It was because they threw it.
Yeah. But I agree with you. I think I will say one thing, and then more than welcome move on. Shio, for a rookie jungler on a team that was considered very bad, is doing his part really well. I got to give the guy credit for sure.
Let me see over some of the games that they won. Yeah, they lost to G2, pretty expected, and then they lost to Vitality. Yeah, they went 1-2 in their last week, but these games were still pretty close, all things considered, actually. All right, so G2. How would you describe G2?
Overhyped. Overhyped, honestly.
Okay, so
I definitely agree on overrated. They were definitely
they got bodied by DOS and Exakick, and they got bodied by Neon and Kaiser.
They went 2-1 this week. I remember they lost to Mad Lions pretty convincingly. I remember that.
Yep.
Okay, so for G2, my thing with them the whole split is, as you know, I love G2. I support them. Is they don't really know what they want to do with this roster. Like, you have a good combination of players, but it's so what's that word? It's all mishandled. Yeah, it's misconstrued. Like, what is Yike's purpose?
They finally get Hasama, but it feels like it might be a year too late.
So, like, their goal is to put this bot lane on an island and have them win because they're a good 2v2 together. But then Yike is supposed to do what? Is Yike supposed to go to bot lane and get them ahead, or are they supposed to get Caps ahead?
Well, here's the problem. Okay, I have nothing against G2, but for some reason, the analysts, the broadcast, these people suck off G2 like they will kill them if they don't mention them. Like, oh my God, Caps died in mid lane. Oh, it was a mistake. It's like, what?
This was bad. So, like, they just didn't jungle the aggro properly. Caps, okay, so for Jace, anyone, to do this, you need to do the Shock Blast E combo first, and then dive with your hammer form to kill him instantly. That's not what they did. That's not what Caps did. He led off with To the Skies, which is Jace's ult in his hammer form. Why would you To the Skies first? Why not poke him?
Because they're not using their brain. my thing. Okay, here's my thing with G2, right? Like, what happens when Han Sama doesn't get Draven or doesn't get um Lucian? He's not as good. I'm sorry. He's
That's
just not
always
as
been, but that's always been on Sama though. That's
if
the
it's not
thing.
Callista and if it's not Draven and if it's not like a lane dominant and even then like they like you said, Mad convincingly beat them convincingly.
Yeah.
I think Broken Blade has regressed a little. Caps, hell, he regressed so much this year. And Mickey thinks he's in 2019. Like, I don't know what. I cannot believe the broadcast was like, oh, this might be the best This G2 team might be like 2019. Stop the cap. Stop the cocaine. Get off of the Adderall. There's no way that you think that this team is good as 2019. You are definitely on some drugs that are not from this planet. It must be from Uganda. I don't know.
I think if the roster kind of figures out who they really want to play through and what is the role of some of these players, it'll be a bit better. Because it just feels like when you're watching a lot of these games, it's more like, okay, Caps is going to try and make plays around the map. He's not just going to sit lane and just auto lose. But you also have this issue of, okay, if Han Sama and Mickey X are going to be aggressive in a 2v2 constantly, then Yike needs to be there. There was this really amazing 2v2 or early on from the bot lane of BDS and G2. Mickey X starts off with a hook right there. Then crown shot, Crowny cleanses too early. Mickey X ignites him. Crowny ducks into the bush, dodges the feathers being pulled back as much as he can. Then you have Lebrov dishing out damage to Han Sama back. Then Han Sama dodges the bubble. Then Lucian comes in with 2 kills, piercing light, then double autos and kills them both. This was a fun, really well played 2v2 from Crowny and Lebrov actually. But that's my thing with G2 so far is I don't think this is a bad team. I just think that this team needs to have its what are you trying to do with these players? It just kind of feels like they're just playing to just be aggressive, but there's no real actual reason. Like, okay, you're gonna do this, I'm doing this, but why are we doing this? We need to go and do this, right? Because look, Caps pats forward to top. He tries to get Broken Blade ahead. Yike attempts to cover Caps and just is good at knowing where to be, but not knowing where to be sometimes when they're strong on the map. That's my problem with G2. But other than that, I think it's hard to say because I want to see how this team performs in BO3s. Maybe it's just because of BO1s that these issues are just really apparent, right? But if these issues are still apparent in BO3s, like how can he still Adam just played really well this whole split, and Broken Blade, I don't know why this guy still is on G2 after completely just kind of running it most of
the split. He's better than Wonder, and he's already contracted. I think the thing is that Caps is not the same Caps, if you notice. Like, he's not getting solo kills, he's not drawing pressure. They're trying to play away from Caps, and that's not how you win. You win with playing towards Caps, and I don't get why.
Yeah,
I get either Mickey is controlling the comms and saying, "Hey, I'm carry, baguette," and then they all go. Go down there. That's what I can think of.
Because they need Yike to play. If you're gonna trust your bot lane to be good on their own and win on their own, then you need Yike to play through Caps, or you need Yike to play through Broken Blade. Because you don't need to invest resources into their bot lane when Hansel and Mickey X have been pretty good in 2v2s. All right, so let's go to the final 3 teams. Let's start with SK Gaming. SK Gaming finishing top 3.
SK Gaming, baby!
This team should have went 3-0 this past week.
Oh, fuck off. You know that's wrong.
This team should have went 3-0 this past week. Astralis did not deserve to win that game at all.
I've been saying all week. Astralis does not. They're not Astralis of old. They don't just roll down if they are behind. They're like, if we have a chance to win, they come back and win. Like,
I agree with that, Chaz.
That I was like, oh shit, okay. It's like because everybody kept typing in Twitch chat, let's Astralis. I was like, yeah, they're not gonna be last this year. They're at the.
But remember, we talked about this last week because I know Sean was like they're playing good, but it's the other teams that were like doing bad. And I was like, no. If you watch the games, they were winning convincingly. This wasn't like one team threw into them. No, they stomped them in the early game and ran through them. That's why I told Chaz on Sunday, if SK Gaming get a lead on Fnatic, they're going to close out against them. Like, and people, and then like you had like the Twitch chat and YouTube. I was like, Fnatic should probably beat SK. And what planet should this Fnatic beat SK Gaming this time around?
Not that trash. They
not by how Fnatic was playing the early game.
They did
not how Fnatic was
than
playing the early game. SK Gaming had a substantial better early game than Fnatic. There's no way Fnatic would ever have any shot.
But
if SK blew off their foot, maybe Fnatic would have a chance. Maybe, right?
Well, I'll say SK. Okay, so I've been an SK fan for quite some time, even though whatever. But I think they overall made I think when I saw the moves, I even told you when I saw the moves, I'm like, Irrelevant, pretty good player from last split, really good. Marcoon, probably top 5 jungler, even though Excel kind of shit the bag and barely made playoffs. Certus, you had no qualms with him. The only question marks was Exakik and DOS because they're from ERLs. And
DOS had that janky split when he first started.
Yeah. DOS had the janky split because he didn't mesh well with I think it was Kabe.
Yeah.
Right. And then Vander came in for after a while because it was like Danik and Vander. It's like it was a whole mess with that. Anyway, so we got Exakik who's leading. I think he has like the top DPM and he's leading all stats for ADCs as a rookie.
Him and DOS are. You could argue they're the best bot lane in the league.
They're the best bot lane
for it.
Yeah, rookies in the first split. Irrelevant is playing weak side. He's played Scion. He's played Renekton.
Certus has had really good pop-off games.
Yeah.
Like, Marcoon is literally invading, pathing so well, killing enemy opposition off early on, like level 2, level 3, out farming them, out macroing them. Like, they looked, the only reason why I was like, okay, they look really good in week 2. Let's kind of see how they play in week 3. Nope. This team's legit. Now, in BO1s. And now we've seen it in BO3s now because they're going to play BO3s. I hope they can translate their BO1 success to BO3s because if people say they're as good in scrims as they are on stage, then in BO3s, you're playing what, like 5 games essentially for a BO5 for a scrim? Okay. Now win 2 of that for a BO3. I think it should. If you can win convincingly like that for a BO1, I think one more game shouldn't be too far out of the realm of possibility. Now, there is draft adaptation in BO3s too. So that's my only concern is, like, can they translate this success they have to BO3s? That's the only real concern. Other than that, they're legit.
The reason I think they're fine is because DOS has played Yumi, Lux, Nami. He's shown that he can play Renata. This guy's played a variety of champions. So I think I bet you when he puts on an engaged champ, he's going to be put even better. So my question is coming into the patch, right? There's gonna be a couple of things. Like I know Aurelian. I'm not sure if Aurelian Soul will be enabled. I think probably disabled. But we're gonna have to see the top lane because Cassante is not. It's got nerfed really hard. But I don't think Irrelevant picked Cassante once. I'm not sure.
No, he mostly picked Scion,
Renekton.
Did he have an Orin game, I think?
I think he had a Jax game.
Yeah, he had a few Jax games here or there.
Right. So I think it's going to come down to if Marcoon can get a good jungle pick. Because if he gets a good jungle pick, he snowballs, they win.
Yeah.
I think SK, I had SK, like, I told you I had them, honestly, 5th, 6th, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So, to me, they've overperformed. I think that what happened, too, is this is another case of a team that is not like... So, the thing about XL and Fnatic and Koi is that because they've had this reputation, there's not that much pressure, so you can play a bit better. Like, when you're a bad team... and people know that you're a bad team and you're expected to lose, but then you show everybody up, then it's a different story. But when you're like Fnatic, like someone's saying, you're expected to win. You're expected to make playoffs. You're expected to go to to Worlds, to MSI, all that stuff. So I think SK. If I don't know if they can beat Koi personally because Koi's better in
the BO series,
best of series.
Yeah.
But if they do beat Koi, then it's scary for the other team.
Right now, based off how they're playing, SK should beat them. If we're talking about right now, SK should beat them. Yeah.
But if I'm a betting man, I'm sure Chaz is going to agree with me on this one. I would bet on Koi because of the experience of Larson and
it's hard because Koi looked extremely like the good things that make Koi always good are now the same things that make SK good. So Koi's essentially regressed. SK have the playstyle that Koi or Rogue had, right? So if I were to pick, I would say as of right now, SK should be the one that wins 2-1. I would say that. That's just me. But then again, BO3s to BO1s is such a hard reset for some of these teams.
But for now, I would say SK has definitely overperformed, and if they continue like gelling and everything, I could see them making Worlds with this team as a third spot for sure.
All right, last two teams. Let's go to Mad Lions. They looked pretty solid, all things considered. They had some really good games. They had some really sus games, but overall, I think they looked pretty good. I would say that. Are they a solidified top 4 team amongst the 4 teams we're talking about? On any given day, I think any of these guys could be first or second.
Okay. I think Niski is trying to show that he's not only a Doinby player and can carry. I will say, if Mad Lions wins their series convincingly, I think that they're a threat. But if they don't, then I'm saying they're just I think they're a good team, but not over the top. I think I think the Astral series, people are like saying it's going to be an easy 2-0, but we've seen
it really should be.
It should be, right?
Yeah.
But remember, it's easier to prepare for one team and change the drafts and everything than and like people become complacent, right? Because when you're the number, what they're like, think they're the number one team.
8th, Mad Lions is 2nd.
Okay, so you're gonna be like, oh, it's 113. I got his name. It's Finn. And then all of a sudden now, 113 gets ahead because mid player or bot play didn't go well. Game snowballs. Like if you have that sort of stuff, like what have players said? If you can lose on any given day. So I mean, I want Astralis to win because I don't fucking like Mad Lions, but that's just me. But like, I think
you like pussy. You like fat cocks.
No, I don't.
You like chicks with dicks.
If no, I'm not a sword fighter. I'm not a lightsaber duelist either. If they don't win convincingly, then I don't think they win the whole thing. Personally, that's my
because this is the thing is like the way Matt there were people factoring. There were some games they won that they kind of really shouldn't based off a few throws, but outside of those games, they looked pretty convincing. Like in their wins, they were really convincing.
Yeah.
The thing here with Mad Lions is most people are going in thinking that if you can't win convincing against an 8th place team, that's going to look pretty like concerning, right?
True, but I think Astralis might have. I don't know, man. Like you said, like Chaz is saying, when a team doesn't want to give up, you can come back and win. That's what I'm saying. Like I think that might be the game to watch too, because I don't know. Like I have a feeling that
wouldn't the same thing apply to Mad Lions too? Because when we were going in, you had Karzi and Hill saying that we thought we're just fucking tank as fuck together, right?
Who's the team that Who's the team that Astralis beat before they lost to G2 the third
Mad
day?
Lions? I think they lost. Who did they lose to? Week 3, Mad beat Fnatic, and Mad lost to Heretics. They went 2-1.
No, not Mad. Astralis. Who did they beat?
Astralis beat SK, Fnatic, and they lost to Koi. Astralis also went 2-1.
So against Fnatic, that team fight, like I don't know if you can bring up the highlights from that game, but that team fight, that
Oh, the Australis one? Yeah. Let me remember
yeah,
now.
that was, I don't know, man. If I saw that, if this was a solo queue game, FF. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You all know that that's an FF if you saw that.
Yeah.
You know exactly what that.
Trust me. I play solo queue with people that FF for less. That right there.
I remember this game. Yep.
Just go to the
Just
fight
go
by the Dragon
next.
Pit.
I've seen team fights like this.
This was worse than the G2 game. In the G2 game, they opted into fighting them and losing. This was just, he's there, and he still, oh my God. Razor, go home.
This is how bad Fanatics is. Like,
and go home. Wonders over here taking free tower shots. Like, this was over, dude.
This is the kind of team fight that makes you just want to log off and just like get some fresh air for the rest of the day. Like,
oh Lord,
this shit
was
right
bad
here
because they know he's there. I can understand if he didn't know he was there and he just makes a bad face check. Okay, cool, but he knows he's there. That's an FFF. Just go home, buddy.
That's just like everybody else just tilted, and now everybody's just waiting for that time to forfeit. I seen shit like this.
This is what I said on Sunday. If any of these bottom two teams get ahead on Fnatic, it's over for them.
Oh yeah,
they don't have any presence in the early game. Just getting an early game lead against them is an auto win.
By the way,
to me, any team gets ahead on Fnatic at a certain point, it's a wrap. It's like
fuck. It was a Mad Lions game. I wanted to. This was also trolled. This was so troll. That 2v2 they had with Viego and Cassiopeia. That was fucking troll. This one right here. Okay, so Razor tries to fight Niski, gets poked down with the Twin Fangs. And right here, Humanoid's like, I was just gonna come in and fight and do nothing and get chunked out.
Humanoid pissed me off because
Razor is like, I'm gonna go back in on Sejuani, who's really tanky. Niski still chunking out Humanoid, and they thought they could still fight them with a Sejuani and a Cassiopeia with stuns and damage over time. What the hell? That's go next. If my jungler does that, you're getting reported to the feds. Get off. Get off.
If my team do that, man, I'm just going AFK in the
MSK. It was when Finn got the 3-man Gnar on.
Oh yes,
that's when I said that they should have.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
Trust me. I play games where someone gets that. Everybody else just stops playing. Where like they just
someone is disconnected.
Yeah, it was Astralis Fnatic. That's the one. So like when Finn got that 3-man Gnar, I was like, nah, man. I'm a FF this game. There's no way. It's like,
dude, that level 1 was already atrocious. That level 1 was horrible from him. They know he's there, and he's still gonna try and challenge him. Yeah. This is a Trundle to a Vi.
You got much better early game.
Back, I think it was the Gnar right here. It was.
I think a little
further back, right?
Little further up.
Further up. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's right here. Because it's only one kill on the scoreboard right now.
Yeah, because it's up here. So like they're getting ready for Drake. All right. Okay, cool.
Dejor just inting as usual, and it's just
he couldn't fight.
There.
There's nothing he could do there.
He was done. Yeah.
Yeah, but like
his brain's been done the whole split. That ain't nothing new. His brain been fried. I mean, even has a brain. Took his brain and threw it in the trash, probably.
Where is it though?
Okay.
Oh yeah, here it comes. Like, bro.
The dragon fight. Yeah.
Oh my, no man. If I saw this, bro, I'm
Razork hooked him to die. Did you see what he did?
All right.
Razork hooked someone and just instantly just died. Bro, yeah, that's just go home. Get out. Get off the stage.
FF. There's no way. I'm not playing that game.
All right, so let's see how this starts. All right,
because I'm just going forfeit and just go ahead.
Okay, Rux hooks onto who's that? That's the okay. Rux hooks onto 133, gets immediately destroyed. Then the fucking tidal wave comes through from Janghoon. Yeah, they don't even look out for Finn. They all, oh lord, they get off the stage.
Nope, FF. I'm sorry. That's an FF. If I
look at Intinoid.
I'm forfeiting, and then I'm reporting everybody.
Doing nothing.
Nah, just trust me.
Look at what Intonoid just does. What a pathetic fucking loser.
Yes.
He has his ult. Look at this. Look at this. He has his ult. Knows Gnar is coming next to him and doesn't even preemptively use it. Look how troll that is. He has his ult and then uses it afterward.
You FF and then everybody gets reported for
FF
griefing.
and then you say the N-word the entire time.
and then we get to the end.
This. Look
everybody
how
gets reported for
literal
griefing.
troll this is. Like this guy's it's Intonoid now. No more human. That's not a human. That's a robot. That is Intonoid. That is a dirty fucking inter right there. Oh, relax. I need it slower. I need you guys to see the trolling this man has been doing in this game.
Yeah, his
all right. So you watch what humanoid is. He
still
still has his ult. Look at that. He still has his ult. He knows Finn is gonna come in there and 3-man Gnar into the wall, and he doesn't ult him, but he's going to ult after they're all dead, bro. You go be unemployed. Go to the unemployment line. Get some food stamps. Get the fuck out of here. Holy shit. You should be ashamed of yourself.
So I think we were on the last team, right? Which was Vitality.
Oh, I was just rewatching this so Fnatic to just look how bad they are. Humanoid is like, I'm gonna come and challenge Lucian 1v1. Look what this guy's trolling, man. You can't make this shit up. He's like, okay, I'm gonna just go up there and fight Lucian. Good job. And then he misses his ult.
See, at that point, as soon as the game ends,
I'm unplugging my computer.
No, as soon as the game ends, everybody's getting reported for grief.
I'm saying the N-word. I'm calling people retard. I'm
that too. Everybody's getting reported. I'm not playing.
This planet can anyone defend this guy after watching that? This man's like, I'm going to challenge Lucian with Cleanse and Flash, with my ult and Flash, not Flash preemptively, miss my ult, and get one shot. Bro, get off the stage.
Oh, he's getting reported for griefing. Go pick out
someone from the... Remember what the Clippers used to do? They were so bad, you used to pick people from the stands. Go grab someone from the stands. They'll probably play better than that.
Definitely back in the 80s. They were literally... This is what they did, too. They would literally give free... They would go out and give free tickets to people. They would go to the YMCA gym and look for anybody that looked like they could play basketball and just give them like.
Look at how bad they left Razor to die. So Razor gets a good angle on Kabe, pretty good, right? They're like, team, help me out. They pinging the question mark pings. But they just left him out to die right there. They could have had an angle to maybe come back in the game if they had actually, collapsed. But you're on your own, bro.
At that point, they were done. That's when
that
you
was
knew
the last dish attempt, honestly.
And he's like, hey guys, we can probably catch this guy out. We can probably do something here. No, look at these fucking janky baguette fucking French Swedish fucks just sitting there doing nothing.
Fnatic looked at him and just went, all right. Go back real quick. No, go back real quick.
He got a perfect angle on him too with his vial. Kabi doesn't have his ult, so right here, yeah, you can actually win this.
Look right here how they all went and then they all just went back like, yes, they knew he was dead. They when I saw that, I was like,
I didn't notice that, Chaz. I just noticed that.
Bro,
if you do that to me, all y'all get reported. I'm not playing.
Kabe has his cleanse and his flash. Kabe has his cleanse and his flash. He burns his ult. Okay, so already you can wait. So with Lucian without his ult in this kind of context is great. Okay, he doesn't have his ult. Good. You have your Azir there with your ult. Vi goes in, knocks him up. Engage. Do something. No, they're like, fuck you. Nah, bro, I'm good. What the fuck? I hate these people.
This was the game I knew Fnatic was done. This season was done. This was the game because they did not care anymore. And Charlotte,
what the hell is this? Reckless has his ult. Rux, this dirty fucking inter couldn't even fucking knock up two people so his jungler could live. Wonder's just sitting there going, you're on your own, bro. You get off the stage.
See, that right there will get a whole team reported. I tell people this, like, if you want to if you want a team to fight after, like fisticuffs, do shit like this.
You can't blame him. You can't blame him either. He tried. I can't blame him for he tried. He cut off the AD carry when he was out of position. You can fight. You could even like, but we're not going to win it. At least try.
KOIS. I'd be typing KOIS and some R words.
Fuck your mothers, like your girlfriend. I'm calling everybody mothers a hoe.
This guy's trolling.
I'm doing
Humanoid and Wonder were not bad. Fuck off. Humanoid and Wonder were not.
It's a collective mindset issue.
It's a collective mindset issue when they're fucking watching their jungler go in and die alone. First part help him.
That first part is bullshit. That second part is so inaccurate. But the issue is they lost faith in each other.
You know what? No, I agree with my one statement. It was a collective mindset to not help their jungler who was trying to get them to win.
Yep. Or no, at least
that was collective.
Yes. I'm calling everybody's mama a hoe. I call everyone's girlfriend a hoe or boyfriend, whatever. I'm cussing everybody out.
Yeah, you're gonna get some F words, and it's not the UCK, it's the maggot. Yep. You're gonna get some R words, some
I'm gonna call them all motherfucking
some KYSs.
I'm calling everybody bitches. I'm calling y'all some hoes. I say, you know what? Quit this game forever. Throw your computer out the window. You ain't shit. I'm got
point. Reckless should have stayed in France. It's hard on him because it's devastating to see his old org fall apart like this. He's part of whatever. Okay, whatever.
Nope.
The players on Fnatic lost their will to play. They never had good synergy. They were never going to play well together. They had that synergy last year.
Rest should join other teams or come to the retirement home. No, he's done.
Reckless is not come here. No, I want that dirty intro over here.
To retire home and then get whacked.
Humanoid looking like he wouldn't be even a top 9 mid laner in LCS.
Oh hell no.
I mean,
now that we've ragged on Fnatic again, which is always good by me, you can always do that. Last team to talk about is Team Vitality. Just like with the Astralis, I can say this: they didn't want to. They never gave up, and I can also respect that. They were games this team really should have lost, like very promisingly should have lost. They kept trying to make things happen, and that's what you kind of want out of a team like that. I'll say this. Photon looks like one of the best top laners. He played really well all game. I don't even had a bad game in any of their games. He looked good in every game. I think Bo looked pretty good for the most part outside of like this last week. Perks, good for the most part outside of like this last week. Neon and Kaiser were exactly what we expected. Stable, solid bot lane. Kaiser leaves Neon to, play by himself, goes and makes things happen around the map sometimes. They're the teams you just expect them to be, and they played a bit better than even I expected. So, yeah, I was fine with them being first place. It's not the worst first place ever. Not the best, but,
I said that Bo had a lot of hype outside of the gambling incident, which clearly he's made up for it, and he's done really well. He's lived up to his hype, right? Let's be honest. Like, Vitality had a bad rep coming into this.
Very bad
rep, right?
That's crazy, dude. Alfari thinks he's gonna start in summer split. Oh, that's so nice, dude. That's so nice.
I mean, he said depending upon performance, but me personally, I could see Alfari going to like. I could
Fnatic?
See him go to no. Yeah, he could. He'd be better than Wonder.
Do you want him to lose his sanity?
I can see him going to either Fnatic or Astralis because he's an upgrade over. He's definitely an upgrade over Finn, and he's definitely an upgrade over Wonder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think Finn is contracted, so I would say Wonder. I would say there because I think BDS is happy. Evie's there going to be with Heretics. They're not getting rid of Irrelevant, so those are my choices. But I think Vitality is a complete team. I think they know how to play team fights. I think they're very calm in high pressure situations, especially in team fights around objectives. They know how they want to play. They play their drafts. They could be down 5K gold. They know how to come back. Perks is the type of player that is like Astralis in the sense that he doesn't give up. He will take the most high. If there's a 10%, he'll take the 10-90 chance than just caving in. Which is good because you always want to win, right? I think they're a complete team. I don't think they have too big of superstars. I think everybody knows their job, and I can see this team winning the whole winter split.
I can see it. The finals will pretty much be I think Vitality will make the finals. I think so. Who else is going to face them in the final? When Diesel outside and shit.
It's Fast 11.
I think that Vitality, like you said, have a good chance at making the finals right now. But who will face them afterwards? I don't know. Like who's going to be to fight them in the championship? I don't really know right now. But I can also say that I'm confident this team will get better as the year progresses. If they're already this good right now, I mean, it looks pretty promising from them. All right, Chaz, what do you think about Team Vitality? I think Chaz is dead.
Now I'm here.
Hello.
I think, yeah, I agree. They are the best team. There's no one weakness with them. They like it's like they would like they do never give up. That fight, I think that's the best thing for them. That if a game is relatively close, like they can always climb back in. And I'm not gonna say I'm surprised that they're first place, but the way they got there was like, holy shit, okay. They're definitely the best. They're definitely the best team to split so far. It was like I'm trying to think who are the two teams they lost to because those games
they lost to SK.
Okay, SK. Yeah, that game was a surprise, but it was like that. It felt even. It felt even the whole game. I was never like okay, that's a game I wouldn't be too hard pressed on if like be like all right, cool. Just next time, make sure we pick this up. We hit this, make sure we hit this lane, get the team fights. But overall, I think like Vitality was definitely the best team this split, and I was so surprised that they got first place. Like I was going for G2, but they knocked it out the park.
Yeah, this is Vitality's best finish in the regular season since like 2016. That's when they and G2 both entered the league together. I think G2 could be their challenger in the finals if G2 fix their issues. G2 need to also fix their issues. But even if that happens, Bo is still so much better than Yike. Like, Bo ran down Yike pretty hard when they faced off against each other. Arma, he's playing league. He's a top laner, I'll say.
He's a top laner. He's doing things. Not good things, but he's doing things.
He's attempting to play League of Legends.
Yep.
Oh, Lord. All right. So that pretty much covers that. Thank you guys for your support. We'll talk for like a little bit longer, and then I got to head out because I got to get some content done. A lot of news dropping, so I got to make sure I'm getting my entertainment news videos done.
Are you going to do the predictions for the best of threes?
Oh, sure. Let's go over that. Dig is 10th place, and so is Golden Guardians. We have two 10th place teams. There's not a 9th place team. We just have two 10th place teams. I'm not kidding. Both of them suck.
That's why I don't watch LCS. Losers come suck.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Blacklist is the best team. That's
Lucky
surprising.
Cucking Saggets, right? Lucky cum suckers. There you go.
Yeah, that too. You got.
Don't you suck off girls' cum when they ejaculate into your mouth?
Okay, so best of threes.
You're stupid. And I'm gonna say this: if you're a team, if you give Beerjin Zillion, you deserve to lose the rest of your matches. I'm telling you that right now. Do not give Beerjin Zillion. Just don't do it. And this comes from a 100 Thieves fan. Just don't do it. Don't kill. Don't shoot yourself in the foot because you want to beat him with his best champion. Don't do it to yourself.
So for me, I think Vitality take it over Heretics. I'm gonna say SK beat Koi based off recent performance.
I can see that,
and I'm confident. I got Bad Lions.
I got Bad Lions being a Charlotte, but I would not be surprised if the Charlottes if Bad Lions does not close them out game 2, I don't have any faith that they'll beat them in game 3. Because Charlotte is one of those streaky teams. If they get hot, they seem like there's no beating them.
When they see a way, they're like, I'll say this: when they were behind in a lot of their games, when they knew a way they could win the game and close it out, they did it pretty convincingly.
Yep.
Now G2 versus G2 versus BDS is also there because BDS has had some really good early games.
I got G2 because BDS late game.
G2 should win this, but if BDS get ahead in the early game enough times, that's going to be over for them.
Yeah, because
go ahead, Jess.
G2's early game's ass. BDS's late game's ass. That's me. It comes down to that mid game. It depends who controls that mid game for them. Mm-hmm. I'll go G2, but I'm not confident about that pick.
So I think it's really tough because I think these teams picked them because remember the teams picked who they wanted.
Yep.
Right.
I want to work from the bottom. I think the series to watch will be BDS G2. I think that's going to be a very close series, but I have BDS coming out because I think they're going to fix their mistakes and they're going to make G2 draft the way they want to. Okay. I agree with Chaz. Mad should beat, and I'm picking Mad, but if Astralis, if it's not a 2-0, I can see them coming back. I have Koi beating SK, even though I like SK because Koi is better in best ofs than they are in best of ones. So that's why. But you know what? I'm going to be faithful. I think SK can win it out, but I think it's going to take all 3 games.
Yep.
And I was just basing it off right now. Like right now, SK should be the favorites to win.
Right.
It should be.
And I think Vitality is just all around better than.
That should be pretty much just like a wash right there.
But what? So the better question is what? I didn't see that news conceal about.
Where was it at? Was it on Reddit? I mean,
I'm not surprised.
That's not surprising at all.
I'm not surprised.
They fucking failed.
You better than me because if I was the owner of a team, everybody gets fired. The players too. I'm like, wait a second.
Coaching staff.
How long do they have until the next split? Or
let me see. LEC coaching, Excel coaching staff.
Very long time because they're doing the best of 3s and then they do best of 5s.
No, you're right. He's right. He's right.
The coaches got fired? Yeah, I'm not surprised. The coach was dog shit.
Young Buck and Nelson will no longer be a part of the XL Esports coaching staff.
Like I said, I'm
your model cannon.
Shit.
Am I wrong? Like he
should probably stay on the LEC broadcast. That's where he's better at. I'll say that.
But I'm not gonna lie, I would not be surprised if they pick him up because you know the shit he was talking about XL. He was putting his shit in XL's ass, just talking about how shit they are. They're drafting and shit. And don't think he didn't say that the culture was shit. He didn't want to go that far, but you know what he was saying when he was like,
they're gonna get Yamato Cannon. Come on, man. He doesn't have a job right now.
He works for the LEC.
I was gonna ask you guys
that ain't shit.
With all the teams, which upset wouldn't surprise you out of all of those matches? Out of all 4,
did BDS actually upset G2? That wouldn't surprise me, but I wouldn't be like, okay, that's like a big like revelation that I would, be like I'd be putting shit on my ass. I'm just kidding, guys. I was joking. But
the one that would surprise me is surprising that Charlotte Mad Lions. I don't think they're even, but like that's the one. If the Charlotte win, I would be like, oh shit, but not like super surprised.
XL reportedly begins major. Thank you, Vin Diesel. Fuck.
Fast 11.
Fast 11.
XL reportedly begins major coaching staff reset after abysmal 2023 LEC winter split. Abysmal.
Abysmal ain't the word. Atrocious. Like
that. God, holy fuck. Okay. After finishing in last place with a single win through the 2023 LEC winter split, XL Esports might be making some major changes to its League of Legends coaching staff before the start of the new season. Might be making change. Esports. Oh my god, you can't be might be making changes if you're announcing that the coaching is gonna all get fired. But whatever. All right. The team is reportedly parting ways with head coach Youngbuck and assistant coach Nielsen, making way for new leadership behind the scenes at the UK-based organization. According to esports reporter Alejandro Gomez, there hasn't been any indication of who will be replacing the two coaches for the upcoming spring split. Before the start of the new year, many people held XL Esports' new roster in high regard due to the relatively promising amount of firepower they had on paper, featuring the likes of Otawamne, Vetio, Patrick Targamas, and Xerxes. The roster's floor was relatively high for a newly created team, while the ceiling was a possible championship contender for many fans and analysts alike. Oof. As the split began, however, the team struggled to fit the puzzle pieces together. As individual stars, the roster was impressive, but they weren't able to build a game plan that fit the talent they had at their disposal. A lack of cohesion and coordination led to XL's downfall, and it was clear in the way they stumbled through almost every facet of their matches. XL not only led the league in total team deaths through the winter split, but they also had the third worst average goal difference at 15 minutes of any team in the LEC, according to competitive league stats aggregate Oracle's Elixir. Across the league, Otawamne had the lowest KDA, Patrick had the most deaths, and the team placed the least amount of wards of any roster in the LEC. Looking toward the future, XL could run things back with the same roster, especially since the team has only gotten 3 weeks to play together before getting eliminated from playoff contention. A new head coach could help mesh these stars together, and if the org can find the right person for the job, we could see XL make an epic comeback when the 2023 spring split begins. So yeah, they're going to be getting rid of Joey and Nelson. Like, as you guys already know, when it came to Youngbuck, people said, oh yeah, when he's on XL, he doesn't really have the best players to work with. The budget's pretty low. He gets to work with all these like washed up jank players and stuff. But when Youngbuck got better players like these guys, he completely kind of failed with them. You know, he actually did better with rosters that were considerably less attractive on paper last year. And I don't know. I think it was about time they got rid of Youngbuck. Like, it's really hard to just judge what a coach does, but he's not had any real good success with XL ever, outside of making playoffs twice last year. And they made playoffs last year as the final seed, and they went to the losers bracket, and they lost both series 3-2, actually. So
how long has Youngbuck been the coach?
Since 2019.
Oh yeah, it's time.
I think so, right? No, sorry. Since 2020 spring, I remember, because XL came in it was early. It might have been summer 2019, but if not that, it was.
But
you're right. 2020 spring. I remember. Yep.
It's been at least 3 years. That's me. At this point, you gotta get the fuck out. Like definitely after this season.
Definitely, yeah. This is like, okay. Sorry,
you got the worst KDA. You got the least wards, and then the most deaths.
Most deaths, least wards, and they're pretty much by goal differences, always on average, just pretty much either losing or they ain't doing jack. That is bad. And like, I get it. Maybe they were so all demotivated that they just couldn't play anymore. But I mean, the coach can only do so much, right? Like, he can only do so much, but he's been there for so long that he never really had any real success with this org. Maybe it's just not the best fit. Maybe he can obviously do a bit better with another org. Maybe. I just don't think any other org is going to make him their head coach when he's not really shown that he's done anything on XL. Like, yeah, he won with G2 and Fnatic back in the past, and he has 6 titles to his name. Right?
He wasn't the head coach, right?
He was.
He was. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing here, he was a team director in Fnatic. Team director.
That's me.
He did win with Fnatic, though. It's like, but those were like, when he won, he kind of had all the best players. in their positions. So people went, oh, you had the best players. That's the reason why you won. So can you prove that on Excel you can win really without as good players? And then with Excel, like they were close to making playoffs a few times, and then they didn't. And then last year they broke their curse. They made playoffs, both splits, losers bracket, first round, hard fought best of 5 that goes the full distance, but they lose in both BO5s. One of Vitality, when they look really shitty in spring, they lost to a really shitty Fnatic roster. They should have won both those series to continue, but they didn't. And then this year, he finally gets the players that people were like, okay, now you have to prove yourself. You can't say, oh, I don't have good players this time around. Nope. You can't do that. Can't use that. Can't have that excuse now.
And then he ran to fuck down. Just the worst fucking team. Just 1-8. And people had you, top 3, top 4?
Mm-hmm. I did. And that's why, going into like power rankings moving forward, I'm going to make sure I keep this consistent as I can, but it's different each time. If the org has never shown that they're good, even with decent players, and has never shown anything relatively in their past that could make you think that they could do better with better players, I don't think they deserve a high ranking. Until you actually prove it, I think they don't deserve it. That's just my thing,
True.
Because people said, well, they didn't have good players. That's the reason why they didn't play well. What? They didn't even do good with decent players. They didn't always have the worst players. They've had some splits where they've had decent players, and they still didn't really look good. So that's my thing. Is like the org's always not been good until the org finally proves that they're ready to compete at the top level. They're ready to be a consistent top 4 contender. And not barely just make playoffs, because that's their standard, is barely make playoffs. Their little goals to make playoffs. Yeah, there's levels, as Chaos said, there's levels to this stuff here, And until they actually prove that, I give them the benefit of the doubt this time around, based off their players, but nope, not in spring. I don't know where I'll have them at in spring, give or take how these other rosters will actually finish. That's going to be hard, because they're going to be pretty much like, what's that word? Unseasoned. They're gonna be like unpracticed on stage for a bit. They're not gonna be able to play on stage for a while, right? You have to go through BO3s. You got to go through BO5s when he makes top 4. Then there's the finals. Then you kind of wait for a couple of weeks. You start up the spring split. Then that has to play, right? So I don't know what they're gonna end up doing for Excel right now. I mean, they need to not even just coaching staff. You need to scrap some of these players. You can scrap the coaching staff, which I think you should do, but you need to also scrap this player. All the players sucked. Like, Ottawamne was their best player. Like, maybe you keep him as a solid piece to build around, but that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all you can really do. But is YouTube down? No, YouTube's up. Oh, my Lord. What do you think, man?
I'm not surprised that the coaches got fired.
I'm not surprised either. I mean, it was due for a change, and with the results that they had, you have to make some sort of change. And if you change the players, then it's like, okay, let's run it. You don't get to run it back and see how it really works, right? So maybe a different coaching approach will work. I know. I think the players are mentally drained and they need some. I don't know how they're sports psychologist or whatever, but I know that if I was them, I'd be feeling pretty bad. So they need to do a lot over this long break they have.
My thing also is when you get a roster full of veterans. Let's be an example for everyone. When you get a roster full of veterans, pretty hard to make them kind of do different things in the game. They already have a set way of how they actually want to play the game, Like they had better results with Nuke Duck last year. Nuke Duck and Patrick were the veterans, and they put rookies around them to kind of, do different things in the game to spice up their play style. They had all veterans. And that thing, Xerxes is just the worst jungler all fucking split. So I don't know. It's one of these things where them and Fnatic, I mean, if people think XL are going to release their coaching staff, imagine what Fnatic is going to go through. I mean, Fnatic definitely should lose someone should be gone.
Oh no,
based off his performance.
someone should be fired right now. Like, see, if I'm Fnatic, I'm telling you, I'm firing everybody. Everybody who was there last year, gone. Like, Reckless might be gone too because the way he was playing was dumb dog shit. Like every time
that'd be crazy if they kept Reckless.
Like he played like his name. He played Reckless. It kept getting fucking murked. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like you were just doing the most idiotic stuff, and then,
it's one of these things where, like, guys, I promise you, Fnatic and XL will make some big changes. I don't know who they're gonna get. It's not really just even about getting big players in that aspect either. It's more about getting a player to do what you want to do, and then also getting a player that buys into the vision of the team too. Because it seems like a lot of these guys didn't even buy into the vision of what this team was going to be. Like, these guys all had lost faith in each other. Maybe probably in week 1, you know? Like, these guys had massively lost faith into each other, you know? Especially on Fnatic. Those guys, they didn't even like playing with each other, as you can probably tell. But yeah, I'll end up seeing you guys later. Thank you guys for showing up today. We'll see you guys next week on, Sunday LCS and Wednesday or Tuesday, for this show, obviously. But BO3's coming up this week for the LEC, so that's going to look pretty exciting.
Yep.
LCS is tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys can review that dog shit.
Oh, LPL. Whoo, my boy Ruler over there popping off good. He's
LNG's
putting
looking
in work.
good too. LNG's looking really good too as well. They're top of the standings.
They are.
They are top of the standings, moron.
Yep. I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh shit! All these teams are the teams that you think are looking good. They're like decent, and the ones that are surprising are on top. You're like, all right, this is good. I don't know what half of them are fucking saying, but it's some good gameplay over there.
Chongming and Danbong language and shit.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now.
You see that Darius 1v3 play from what, Qton? Bro,
Queen Chain? I'm sorry,
Queen La Bing Bong.
You stupid.
King 10. I can't pronounce it.
I'm not even trying to pronounce half these guys' names.
Remember that 1v1 the Shy played Nidalee top versus Cassante. This man is insane. This guy, he's just insane.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if that happens in the LCS, that person needs to be kicked off the team before the game even ends. Just go back home.
If you lose to Nidalee top, you deserve to just be uninstall the game.
Nidalee top is it's actually a lane bully, believe it or not.
Yeah, but only people like the Shy should be playing that, not people from.
Oh yeah, you have to be really mechanical and know.
If I see one player in the LCS says, "Oh, I could," nope, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now, Busio, because Busio said he watches a lot of LPL. Do not do that, Busio. Do not pick Nidalee as support. I swear, there's gonna be 100,000 people in Reddit wanting you to get kicked off while to see you so fast. It's like
because it was the Ruler 2v4 outplay, the Darius 1v3, dude. Like the LPL. JDG is pretty good. Like I'll be honest here, it's gonna be a JDG top esports final. Like, who are we kidding each other? It's gonna be them as the finals, right?
LG is gonna play spoiler to some of the teams.
LG, I think, will make top 3. Actually,
I'm not gonna lie. Like the worst teams in the LPL could probably beat the best teams in the LCS.
But EDG also look good too.
Fuck it. They're fucking drafted over there. It's disgusting. I'm like, shit.
The way they play Cassante over there compared to West is way.
They don't even value Cassante at all in the LPL as much.
Yes, they do. What are you talking about?
No, they do.
They do.
I mean, they do, but it's not an overwhelming like stomp champion. Most people will pick stuff into it and just play very fine.
Did you not watch what Sanji did on Cassante?
I watch these gotta be bong bongs.
You stupid. He should, man. These fucking games are fire.
Oh, there was the game with Bin fighting the Shy when he's playing Cassante. Like BLG, like they looking pretty solid too, to a certain extent.
The only player I think that could play Cassante to a decent report is Fudge. If Fudge was in the LPL, he'd probably be the test best Cassante player or test best mid laner.
Isn't it funny? Isn't it ironic that the Asians can play the black man so well?
Hey man, the Asians also
Wait, would it
break
be
theirs better than
racist
we do.
if they pick Casante? Isn't that kind of racist for them?
Asians did take over breakdancing. That's mean, and they just wax us in it. That's mean, fuck it.
This is beyond cringe.
Up in top lane and winning an epic 1v1 versus
beyond
Bin's
cringe word. This is
Check
garbage.
it out.
Let's watch the Shy make some crocodile boots out of Bin on Casante. He tags around the edge of the Dominus, avoiding most of that damage. Bin goes all in, gets the Shy low with an empowered W. Shy then dances around the outside, waiting for that Renekton ult to end. All out. Bin slices and dices. He's going to find himself on the wrong end of the lane. Shy drops a ward to hit a Q, charges up his W with all out. Q3 into a kill. The Shy.
That's the Shy.
The brother.
That's the Shy. This man's back. People think he's still running it down. There was a year where he literally ran it down the whole year.
Well, the thing is, he hasn't made it to Worlds since 2020, though.
2018, right?
No, 2020. Wait, no, 2019. 2019 is the last, so he's kind of potato.
He's still so good. This guy is disgusting. And they have Xiaohu and the Shy on the same team. How is that even fair?
And Karsa.
Xiaohu also played with Karsa before, yeah. And Light and Potato Chip.
Okay, anyway, I'm gonna take a nap.
Potato Chip, I'm done.
Quing the Bang Bang.
I need to know how to pronounce that guy's name.
I gotta try to pronounce. Yeah, because those names are fucking
Quing Tian, but Bang Bang Bang. That's his name or something.
Because the Korean players' names are so easy, but those fucking Chinese names is.
Yeah, you have a guy called XYM on IG. He's really good. YS Game's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Like the LPL, it looks pretty stacked, but we'll see who makes it. I think it'll be a top. JDG will be in the finals. I'm confident about.
Yeah, RNG's not looking so good this time
RNG's
around.
not.
A
little sad.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me getting rid of their best player in Xiaohu, who's been like perks for them for years, and they're doing bad? You don't say.
No, he left. He left.
He did. No, I told people it's like people
just
really underrated. I was like, Xiaohu is RNG. If without Xiaohu, there's really not Xiaohu and Ming. Without Xiaohu and Ming, they're not RNG.
Ming's back though.
Yeah, but the problem here is like Xiaohu is such a pivotal piece for them. Was now he's on Wingbao Bongbao Gaming or whatever it's fucking called.
Weibo Gaming.
Weibo. That's the only like
Weebao Gaming.
Weebao, whatever. It's
anyone's bitch is still 0-5. Yeah, I expect that.
On a day.
Oh, dude, there
they
was some
were like
nights,
Appaloo's ass. There
were some nights I couldn't watch because there was these matchups were like LGD versus anyone's bitch and Ultra Prime versus.
I don't stay up to watch these. I wait for the VODs to come out and then I just.
Yeah. I can't be doing BO3s or some of these. They're too bad. Like I will give World Elite this. World Elite is a dark horse. I will say they look pretty.
Like, I'm at my like at my morning job watching this and like like I'm learning the coding stuff and then I got on my other screen. Like for security, I'm watching
RNG is 16th place right now.
I'm learning coding on one screen, and on the other screen, I'm just watching the games like for 8 hours. And then I go to my other job. Like on certain days, I'm like, oh shit, okay, these motherfuckers is good. And then I watch the LEC, and I'm like, damn, this whole team needs to get blown the fuck up. And then I go to LCS, I'm like. Yep. All right. This team's ass.
Now, yeah, you're watching like good quality games from like LCK and LPL. You're like, oh, LCS. Yeah, this is
not like to this day. If I see this is why now for LCS, if it's not Cloud9 or 100 Thieves or FlyQuest, I might just or EG to a certain extent. I'm just gonna watch the vibe because if I gotta sit through that fucking like Team Liquid go to Guardians game again? Nah, I ain't doing that shit. That game was ass.
Listen, okay, if I had to give you an ultimatum, Chaz, which would you rather be? Would you rather be a Golden Guardians fan or an Astralis fan?
Astralis.
Wait, hold on.
And-
Golden
and
Guardians,
the-
they have Stixay. He's been a top
Get the fuck out.
ADC for.
I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. That nigga is garbage. Him and Huhei are who he or they who had who he. They are the fucking worst. But like
That's a good
they are bad. Who the fuck is he? Sticks. God, that Golden Guard team is. It's like the other three players are good, but you get the Sticks and you're just like, can we just get like anybody else? Like, it's like I know we can't get upset, but it's like they need somebody. They
need God.
Cause fuck it, because who he's not even that like who he looks competent on Golden Guardian, and then you're sitting next to an 80 carry that can't fucking kill anybody. I'm like, you know what?
Stixay's been a top 3 ADC since he started playing.
Well, guys, this has been a great stream.
He's the guy. Every time I play with him, he's getting reported. I'm just reporting him for whatever.
I'm reporting you just for entering the game.
Like I'm reporting for griefing every time. Just like the fuck you do get caught out. Oh my god.
All right, everyone. If you guys want to see me where I go live on my main YouTube channel, links will be in the description box below. If you want to watch my other podcast, which I'm uploading all the seasons to on the podcasting apps, I'm currently working on more entertainment news episodes and episodes of Box Over Support for my main YouTube channel with other content. But yeah, this, as you guys know, on this channel, as we're kind of condensing down my time this year, LCS is for sure Sunday. This show, if we don't have it on Tuesday, we'll have it on Wednesday, and that's pretty much it. Anything else you guys want to say before we head out? Besides that, you love the LCS and you're both Golden Guardians fans, as we just found out right now.
First of all, I'd rather get a blowjob from Madonna than be a Golden Guardians fan. I'm not doing that shit.
I'd rather support the LGBTQ mafia than be a Golden Guardians fan. But anyway, all I have to say, honestly, is that I'm excited for the best of threes, and I really want to see what happens. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, that's it, guys. We'll see you on Sunday, okay? See you guys all. Peace. Deuces.
Cheers,